Today on the table, I have the Springfield XDS in 45. It's the Mod 2. And I also have the Shield Mod 2, also chambered in 45. You will see a price split of about $76, the XDS being about $76 more than the Shield. Weight, the XDS is a lighter firearm. Size, they're almost completely identical. Length, very similar. The XDS is just a touch longer. Width, they're also very similar. The XDS is just a touch wider. Height, without magazines in it, the Shield is a taller firearm, with both of them having a 6-round magazine in it. The Shield is smaller. Your XDS does have an accessory rail. Your Shield does not. Your XDS offers a fiber optic front sight. Your Shield just uses your standard 3-dot system. I do like the fiber optic front sight. Yeah, it's a little bit more fragile, but it's very easy to pick up. Your XDS has an ambidextrous mag release. Your XDS, the magazine quality just in general actually looks a lot better. How the spring feels, very smooth on the XDS mag, not so much on the Shield. It's kind of, I don't know, grindy almost. This looks like a galvanized steel. This is chrome. Trigger brake. With your Shield, it's very like going up to a wall and you have a very defined wall. The actual brake of the trigger, I do get movement in the front sight. Not much, but it's enough to where it is going to affect the accuracy downrange, because with a pistol, any sort of movement at all in the front sight will give you a mechanical disadvantage on accuracy. Here's your reset. Nice and short. Makes an audible sound. Your XDS, the trigger take-up's really light to your wall, but the wall isn't defined. Even after you hit the wall, you still gotta keep going. Like, I'm at my wall. Creeping. Creeping. Little more. But the actual brake of the trigger is very clean. Very little, if any, detectable movement in the front sight. Here's another one. Here's what your reset looks like. Right there, audible click. So the XDS, the actual brake of the trigger is cleaner than the Shield, but the take-up and the use of the trigger is better on the Shield, so you'll probably be better with multiple shots at a high rate of speed with the Shield, but if you like to take slow, long shots and show off at the range, you're going to be better with the XDS. Your XDS does have a loaded flag. Your Shield has a hole drilled, so you can peek down there and see if you see brass. I'm a strong believer in keep it simple, stupid, so I actually prefer the hole, but that does have a disadvantage because if it's completely dark and you can't see, you can feel and see if this is loaded, but if you can't see, you probably shouldn't be shooting anyway, but it is a nice feature to have. Magazine release, very user-friendly on the XDS, also on the Shield. Works nice, magazine going in. Shield, it gets real sticky right there, but then it locks in. Not a big deal if you go in with a little bit of speed. XDS, very smooth, all the way up to the lock point. It does kind of have a little hump right there you have to go over. Then it locks in and sits in nice. The Mod 2 Shield, the old one was like the XDS. where this plate could come off, and people were taking them off, and from what I understand, without that plate on there, the magazine's too long, and then if they ram it home, they over-insert it, bending their extractor. That problem has been fixed with the Shield. The XDS still does use the removable plate. And it does also look like if you were to over-insert this one, you would also bend the extractor. Breakdown of the firearms are very similar. Shield, you got a nice big fat lever. Slide it down, and then your slide's gonna come off. The XDS, same thing, but with the XDS, you have to first remove the magazine. You got a smaller lever, and it's got to go up a little bit harder to hit. For me, it's not that big of a deal. Racking the firearms. They're both pretty comfortable. The Shield does seem slightly easier to rack over the XDS. The overall styling of the firearm, I think they both look good. Your XDS has your Springfield logo on top, looks really cool, very nice lettering on it. The grip looks pretty decent. Your Shield, milling in the back, it's got like a wave to it that looks pretty cool. The lettering on this side's white. You got your Smith & Wesson logo right there. You got slide serrations in the front for your press check. Now when you purchase the firearms, your Shield's going to come with a cardboard box, trigger lock, range flag. This will fit in the recycling bin very nicely. You're going to get a 6-round magazine and a 7-round magazine. With your XDS, you're going to get a 5-round magazine and a 6-round magazine, so the Shield does have a higher capacity. You get a trigger lock, changeable rod, so if you want to change the color in the front sight, obviously your owner's manual, and a very, very nice case. Now, most free states, this doesn't really matter because this is a concealed carry gun anyway, so you're probably never going to use the state, but in your socialist states where they're afraid of the population, like Illinois, California, New York, something like that, this actually does matter because you're probably going to have to keep the firearm locked up unless like the moon's full and you're at a range with a police officer standing next to you supervising. If that's the case, then you will have to get a case for your Shield. Now, what would I pick? The XDS or the Shield? I mean, they both do have an advantage. Shield, you get more capacity. Your XDS is lighter, has a far superior trigger brake. You get a case with the XDS. The Shield is a lot cheaper. Now, I own the original XDS, the Model 1. I guess you just call it the XDS. I did have some issues with different types of ammunition. Lead round nose and Hornady Critical Defense 185. It wouldn't go all the way into battery. It'd come to like right here on the forward. And it just couldn't get the shell to make that ramp. But with a 230 Hornady and just 230 ball ammo, it ran flawlessly. I don't know if the Shield would have those same problems because I didn't run it. And I don't know if this was rectified with those problems. Another reason why I'd probably pick the XDS over the Shield is just the overall quality. This does seem more refined. Like even the polishing on the barrel ramp. I'll roll in a photo because it's probably going to be hard to see. They just did a better job on it. Better magazines. You get the case. Nicer trigger pull, like I said. So yeah, I would probably actually pick the XDS.
The only thing that we know for sure is that she was a woman.
Quit beating around the bush and just say it. There wasn't an AR-15 used. It was a handgun. It was a girl, not a male. And she did this in one of the states that have already in place all these gun control measures you guys have been proposing federally. And it did not stop this shooting.
But you don't want to listen because, hey, I got a hobby!
Since when is freedom and personal safety a hobby? Chank.
Even though 93% of Americans want federal background checks, nope, you're not allowed to have it. Because the gun manufacturers pay the NRA. The NRA is bought in our open auction system, in our private financing of elections. They bought all the politicians.
We've had background checks, Chank, for a long time. Chank.
NRA is bought in our open auction system, in our private financing of elections.
I get it. You can't come after us. Because that would look really terrible trying to get rid of someone's personal freedoms. But But going after the NRA just doesn't make sense. They're only in place because we give them money. It's not the gun manufacturers just magically pulling dollar bills off of a tree paying the NRA. No, it's our money because we want to purchase handguns. We want to purchase AR-15s. Just come out and say it. You want to take away the freedom to have free will to buy and do as you please.
It says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. It is a qualifier, a well-regulated militia being necessary.
Yes, there's a comma separating the first half and the second half of the Second Amendment. So it means two different things. And well-regulated militia does not mean what you're making it out to say. You can go and actually read the side notes and read exactly what they meant by well-regulated militia. It does not mean government-controlled. Oh, God, I don't even know where to go with this. Like, do your viewers not ever fact-check you?
It doesn't just say you could have unlimited guns. Are you part of a well-regulated militia? One, you're not part of a militia. None of these people are, okay? Number two, you're certainly not well-regulated. It says that it should be well-regulated. That phrase is literally in the amendment. I can't read. I don't care. I got a hobby. It's fair to say.
Wow. 3.7 million people get their political advice from him? I give up. We've lost.
Game over.